Hello, hunters, and welcome back to the Salawag's White Straight Gut Reaction, where I watch things right from the gut. I just finished season 6 of Rick and Morty. I love this show. I think I've been watching this show on repeat over and over again since I got into it. I had a boss a few years ago who recommended me to watch this show. The first episode was a bit strong for me at the time. And to be fair, Rick is the most gross and disgusting. For those who don't know, Rick and Morty is a ripoff in a way of Back to the Future with Doc and Marty. And quite literally, the creators had made Doc and Marty cartoons that were essentially goofy, wild one-offs, not too far out of the vein of Rick and Morty. And essentially, they had come to a point where they needed to make a show, and they had some ideas, and it ended up being that they they created this Rick and Morty characters, and they were multiverse travelers. So Rick is the grandfather, Morty's the grandson. Rick is the greatest genius in the universe. He's invented multiversal travel. So he has a little gun that shoots and makes a portal, and that portal can transport him through timelines and alternate universes where the rules work differently, where things you might go to a cartoon world where all the rules are like a cartoon. You might go to another timeline where things happen differently for you and the family or the world, and so there's a different president, there's different celebrities who have died, there's different popular icons and popular foods. And essentially it's a wild adventure show that's very gnarly. Think of all the grossest, most strange events of South Park, like the devil being in a gay relationship with Saddam Hussein, things like that. Think of South Park as like the elementary level of madness. And Rick and Morty is college level madness, because they just get so wild. It's so hard to describe this show because it's got so much going on. But one of my favorite episodes that kind of defines what this whole show is about is M. Night Shyamalan's episode, where Rick wakes up in a simulation. And the simulation is about him and his family, and the family is trying to get him to talk about how he invented multiversal travel. And essentially, the whole gag is that the aliens want him to just blurt out naturally how he invented multiversal travel so that they can have the same power that he does and take over the multiverse. And he manages to outsmart them and then somehow build a device that transfers his mind between brains. And, oh wait, no, that's a different, I'm mixing it up. And Rick essentially manages to figure out what's going on and gives the aliens totally wrong information and makes the aliens blow themselves up. So it's crazy. It's just crazy how, Rick and Morty is about so many wild adventures where they're just doing strange stuff. They're just doing. I don't even know how to talk about this show. They're just doing so much strange stuff. But it's amazing seeing in the beginning of the show, Morty is, he's supposed to be 14 years old. He's so much more vulnerable. He's so much more terrified of all the things that are happening. As they go off to fight, they go across space and they find aliens who want to kill Rick for various reasons. And so they're riding around in a spaceship that's literally a flying saucer made out of trash cans. And it's just nuts what they go through. It is nuts the amount of strange, irreverent events that occur in this show that, perhaps not everyone would be into, but for me, I just get a great kick out of it. I can't get enough about this show. Every episode is a new adventure, but there are canonical episodes here and there where we meet an evil Rick and Morty, because this is the multiverse. So There's literally an episode where Rick dies, and he has this system where if his physical body dies, his mind and memories will be transmitted through the internet or whatever. There's some kind of signal that'll reanimate him into a clone body somewhere else, either in the multiverse or in one of his own homes. And it gets so bad that he ultimately he destroys his own cloning machine in his own dimension. So when he dies, he gets cloned into another dimension where he's like a crustacean, and then another dimension where he's like a tire or something, and it's so strange. It's so bizarre. There's the Pickle Rick episode written by the writer of the She-Hulk show. Something shows a lot of promise there. But where Rick turns himself into a pickle in order to avoid family therapy. He just hates therapy. He hates the concept of therapy. He doesn't want to go get therapy, and it's nuts. It's really just like you did that. You did those things that happened in this show. I need a cookie. I need a cookie. Cookie. Okay. No, I'm gonna put you right here. All this talking is making me tired because, like, I had to leave work and, man, I got laundry to do. Oh, shit. I'm gonna go back to my laundry, too. Mm. 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 Oh, good. Yeah. Homemade cookie for my coworker. Mm. 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 Yep. Yep. Mm. 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 Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, yeah. Wash it down with some Coca Coco. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Sometimes sugar gives me hiccups. Oh, so good. So, Rick and Morty, they're going on wild ass adventures. Okay. That being said, for those who have seen the show, how fucking good is this show? Season 6, man. I think I would say not as strong as season 5, but had just as many great wild episodes. I think season 5 definitely is my favorite season, especially for the finale. Season 5, the finale, I've watched so many times. When we talk about season 1, we get the introduction of Evil Rick and Evil Morty. And I think in season 3, throughout the show, we run a few times into the Citadel. The Citadel of Ricks, where all the genius Ricks of the multiverse have made a little city, a floating city for themselves to live in. And basically have a life. They work regular jobs, but they're just surrounded by themselves. They're surrounded by other Ricks and they're surrounded by other Mortys. It's a very, very absurd little universe. But our main character, Rick, hates this place because he's an anarchist. He believes in doing his own thing. And he hates the government. And he's like, why would my other versions of myself, who all hate the government, want to make a government? It just makes no sense to me. And so that's kind of a fun thing. But I love the episode where we see the sort of the day in the life of the Rick and Morty's living in the Citadel, floating in space, and you see there is a class division between Ricks and Mortys, and there's a class division between the Ricks themselves. And you got Rick's working like shitty, crummy jobs, and other Rick's owning the company and doing very well. And it's this kind of sad, like, self-reflective metaphor about real life. But at the same time, it's just kind of an absurd image to watch. Like the very opposite of Where's Waldo. It's like, where's anyone but Waldo in this picture? A lot of Waldos. But I would say my absolute favorite episode that I've watched so many times. I don't even know how many times. Definitely more than a dozen, possibly more than 20 times. I'm not entirely sure. But the season 5 finale, where essentially, the season 5 finale, which pays off the evil Morty storyline. Essentially, evil Morty had been revealed in earlier. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Rick and Morty, freaking go watch it. If you like South Park, if you like Family Guy, this is both of them on crack. Literally on crack, because it makes no sense. It goes all over the place and it's wild and it's weird, and I love it. But essentially, when we get to see evil Morty again, he's running for office. He's basically running to be president of the Citadel of Ricks. And we don't know that he's evil Morty until the final moments of the episode, where a private eye discovers through pictures that he used to be evil Morty. Obviously, if this information got out, he would not be allowed to be president anymore. But my favorite episode, the finale, season 5, Rick and Morty have to go back to the Citadel because Morty has turned himself into a 40-year-old and needs to go back to his normal age. And frickin' what the hell with this tree? So essentially, Rick and Morty come back to the Citadel to fix Morty up because he's made himself 40 years old and he needs to go back. We get a great gag where he's literally sliced into 3 pieces and then aged down separately. Wow. And his 20-year-old self goes out to defend a couple miscreants from the cops and gets himself shot. And his words are, "Was I influential?" And Morty's like, "Yes." He's talking to his 20-year-old self made out of the slices made out of him. So absurd. Like, where does the thinking come from to make it? I don't know. I don't care. But wow, it's great. Yeah, I just couldn't